What's going on? Happy Easter to everybody. So this is the next day after, having the Integra tuned and whatnot. And today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be messing with that turd right there. I want to figure out a couple different things with it. I don't think I'll be able to get it running today, but still could get it, to the point where it's about ready to run. So story goes with this car. Picked it up for like $1,700, a buddy and I did. And we bought it off an acquaintance of mine who bought it off his cousin, who was a friend of mine. Said cousin / friend built this car. It was a Florida car originally. Single jingle turbo F-Series, 6266 turbo, E85, la-di-da-di-da, popped the motor, replaced the motor, then the car sat because he's super busy, and he also has, I think, like 4 or 5 different cars. I think this one was just kind of like a whatever car to him, but replaced the motor in it. You see it's all painted up and whatnot, but when he put the transmission in, I guess he didn't align the clutch. So he said that the transmission needs dropped and the clutch needs realigned. I don't know about that. Reason being is because I know if I try to turn the motor over by hand, it's completely locked up. He says that the clutch is binding up, not allowing the engine to turn over. That's a possibility. I've never personally ran into that. I've ran into them either, the clutch completely slipping or not working at all like that, or you just can't shift the car, but the motor turns over. So I don't know how legitimate that is. I trust said friend, but things happen, and especially after it left his ownership and went to his cousin, you know what I mean? So what I'm gonna try to do today actually is, excuse me, I'm sorry. What I'm gonna try to do today is I just want to get this transmission dropped out and see if the motor is going to need replaced. Hold on. Ugh, hiccups and burps. I just got done eating. I'm sorry. But yeah, see if the motor turns over, because if it does, then that's great. But I've already kind of came to the conclusion that if the motor needs to be replaced, I'll just replace it. It is what it is. I don't know if I'll put another F-Series in it. Probably just toss a D in it, but whatever. If it's just going to be an opportunistic thing here, depending on what's wrong, what's going to work, what isn't going to work, blah, 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 blah. So with that being said, what I'm going to do is, like I said, just drop the transmission out. Dropping the F-Series transmission is no different than dropping the D-Series transmission. The only difference is that this is cable-driven for the shift selector, as opposed to having linkage that runs to the bottom, which kind of makes it easier because then you don't have to deal with the bitch pin. So move this out the way here. As you can see, just one cable right here and another cable right in there. And then, like I said, drop it out, see what it does. Of course, there's a bunch of other work I got to do here. Like, we got to clean up this wiring on this engine bay, because this is the factory D-Series wiring that's going to this F-Series motor, which works because most of the sensors are the same. But as you can see here, like, the alternator wire had to be, stretched out. And whatever this feed wire for the battery here that feels like it's made out of straight rubber, I do not like that. We might actually just remake another one of those charge harnesses. But yeah, that's pretty much it for what we're going to be doing to it today. Like I said, I'm just really curious if the motor's good or not. So with that being said, for the 16 to 20 people who watch my videos, shout out to you guys. This car is going back to NA. So if you're a single cam guy, F-Series single cam guy, and you want a turbo kit, which by kit, I mean you want a manifold, a wastegate, a 6266 journal bearing turbo, and this little dinky intercooler. It is for sale, and it won't be super expensive. And I think it's got some, what are these? Smart Fire. Oh, it's got them good old eBay boys in here. Some Smart Fire injectors, aka might work, might not work. You order thousands, but we sent you 200s type crap. It is what it is, whatever. But yeah, this was originally an auto car as well. And as you see, the clutch pedal's been added, but the brake pedal is still a full-size brake pedal. I don't really think that's necessarily much of an issue, but it's just kind of not aesthetically pleasing in my book. It looks like they cut half of it. I mean, I don't see why he didn't just cut the other half, just make it square. But, whatever. I didn't build it, so. But anyway, yeah. So I'm going to get you guys set up on my table here. Honestly, to be real with you guys, I'm just dropping the transmission. So what I'll do is I'll just time lapse it. I don't see a purpose in trying to show you guys how to do.
I mean, it's like y'all can't be serious right now. What you think gonna happen when two of the illest niggas together? Real music and so forth, the one track, huh?
All right, I'm trying to make this quick because I got music playing in the background. So I'm glad this is happening actually, because like almost nothing. I'm kind of believing what he said. Transmission bolts on the rear, like like where it connects to the T-bracket and everything, all that jazz. Everything was all sorts of wonky. I haven't even moved on to the passenger side yet, but I pulled the two bolts that run from the T-bracket to the transmission, and the entire thing it bowed. So I don't know if you guys can see. There's a hell of a gap. There's still two bolts up in here. One of them is not even really tight, but hell of a gap. So under normal circumstances, anytime I've ever pulled a transmission out in a car, even pulling all the bolts like that, normally I do leave the top two because they're the easiest to get to. I've never had one bow ever. Like they're actually in there. So that tells me that the input shaft probably is not actually sitting in the splines at all. So it's probably literally just like stabbed itself up against the pressure plate or something, not allowing it to turn. So that's actually promising in my eyes. Bit of an inconvenience, but had it not worked out the way it did, we wouldn't have got this car so cheap anyway. So it is what it is, not a big deal. So yeah, I'm gonna continue on with the time lapse. We're gonna move on to the passenger side now, get all of that situated, and then after I get the axle and everything out and undo everything up from the top, we'll undo this transmission mount right here from the transmission itself. Take the starter off, obviously take the slave cylinder off, and drop it out. And then, like I said, we'll try to spin it by hand. So hopefully it actually works. Like I said, I'm feeling good about this, so we'll just continue the process.
Y'all can't be serious right now. Hey yo, the spiritual shit really work. And yo, the revolution marketing costs what you televise. Analysis from the pieces you left, I improvise. Off the wall fly butter out of my cocoon, papa, you puzzle a why.
All right, so I got the passenger side axle pulled out. This is why it's always a good idea to just check over any car you're going to buy. So you see that missing lower control arm bolt right there. I know a lot of people be like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's just one bolt. Well, actually, yeah, that is a big deal, because the way this works is if it's not all attached together, you're giving this a pivot point, and you might think that having 1-2 bolts will work. And I guess if you want to count that bolt, but I wouldn't. But if you look in there, I can get you guys to, I can't get it. I don't have enough room, but the bolt hole is sitting down, so you couldn't even get a bolt in there if you wanted to. So what you have to do is loosen it all up to get it some slop, just to get another bolt in there. That's dangerous. Tell you guys a quick story. Went around a corner, just whatever cruise. I think I was maybe doing 60, and the entire car started rocking back and forth. Scariest thing ever. So that bolt missing may not be as extreme as what I went through, but I wouldn't risk it. Make sure you have all your hardware like all your suspension hardware in. Honestly, I don't care if you cheap out on your suspension. Like this car has max spinning rod, coilovers and crap. But at least make sure all your hardware is in there and tight. You don't want to be cruising and, all of a sudden you lose control arm or something crap like that. Wheel, binds up, and yeah, it's not a fun time. Anyway, since we got that axle out there, now all the focus is going to be up here. So I'm going to start working on getting the slave cylinder, the starter out, those two cables, get those loose and whatnot, try to keep all this hardware and crap with it. That way I don't have to go finding it to replace it. And yeah, we should be gravy after that. Should be able to lower the transmission down. All right, that honestly took no time at all. So the splines for the clutch look fine. Oh, oh. Let us see. I think it's a 19. Let's see if it spins. This is why, like I said, I was banking on probably having to put a motor in this car. So luckily, it's already halfway out. So whatever. That bitch is stuck, dog. Like I'm about to loosen the torque or the bolt for the crank pulley. Yeah, well, at least we know. So I'll give her one more college try. Yeah, I'd say that that bitch is stuck like Chuck because it just broke my awesome power torque ratchet. So, yep, it is what. All right, so farther inspection, I pulled the spark plug wires out. They came out real easy because they weren't attached to anything. And there is a good puddle of water in all the cylinders. So best guess is it sat outside. In case you guys didn't know, water has a way of getting damn near everywhere. It'll creep in, even just build up through condensation. So mind that whenever you have a motor that's sitting. But yeah, I'm not like upset. It's just more of one of those things where it's like, if they known, just tell me. No big deal. It's a F23 out of I think 96 to 02 Accord. Very easy to find. They're everywhere. So what I want to do now is we're going to source a motor. I can't really say source because these things are literally everywhere. We're just going to get another F23A1, yoink this bad boy out, smack another one in there, and just go from there. We'll swap over what we need off of this motor, and then we'll scrap this one because there's nothing on it that's worth literally anything, and hopefully the new one will treat us right. Actually, instead of pulling one from the junkyard like I would normally do, I'm gonna try to source one out from a full service yard. That way it's guaranteed to run, and we'll smack it in, and hopefully everything works out, and then we can get this car finished up, cleaned up, and sold. Obviously whenever it's done, you guys probably be the first people to see it being done and driven. Any of you guys who watch this video, you guys get first dibs. I'm located in the St. Louis area, on the Illinois side. So if anyone's relatively close and you guys watch these videos, I cannot talk, I'm sorry. And you guys watch these videos, and you want a daily, I got one. And you guys know everything that's been done to it because you get to watch me do it. So yeah, that'll be it for this. I hope you guys have a great Easter. I already got the car semi put back together so I can drop it onto the ground. I want to see if I could possibly just leave that transmission sitting in there too, because I don't want to drag it out into the garage. But yeah, it is what it is. Due diligence before purchasing anything. But anyway, that'll be it for this video. Should have time. I'll edit this tonight, get it uploaded tonight. And yeah, that'll be it. Peace.